Welcome to more Gran Turismo 7 Specialtatin. Today we're featuring a mix of cars. I don't really know what to call it. It's the same one you've seen for like 2.5 years that I don't particularly like. And Special Stage Round X. This is the 4th race I ever did back in the year. And, well, this one's special. Doing just Specialtatin on it on Special Stage Round X. What's the most special here? I think it might be my driving. You can take what I mean by special as you may, and I'm not gonna do the old-fashioned sort of kind of sounding a little bit special accent on it. Because I can't really do it as long as I could around about 10 years ago. If you notice, even back then, those videos weren't particularly long either. It's not an accent I can really keep up. And to some extent, it's not really an accent. It's kind of just an over-exaggeration of how I usually talk anyway. Like, this is my normal voice, and then you can kind of end up getting it all the way to doing the accent. And then, there you go. You can say the accent or over-exaggeration or whatever is positive or negative or whatever, but while there is kind of a lull in accent before we get to a turn, one thing that I will say that's outright positive is the connection. As y'all can tell, I'm not from New Zealand, and running this in the United States on a New Zealand account against people from way farther than this continent of Australia as well, I'm pretty sure it has some Asia in there, and I think maybe a little bit of Africa or something too. I'm not 100% sure on that. I know at least some of Asia and then all of the continent of Australia in there. And I don't have good internet, and it's still doing fine. A little bit of lag here and there. Those sparks are actually just because I think it's the high road. It's bottomed out a little bit. That's not lag or anything. It's just what the high road, what that tune does around here. No big deal. But what is a big deal though is taking the draft now, because I'm almost out of it and it's not even halfway through the race really. Luckily, it seemed like someone messed up enough in front where I'm just barely in the draft. But just barely in the draft and one of the slower cars is not the best look in the world. And also remember, there's nitro, so I want to save that up to the end of the race. I will say, this is, not to spoil or anything, not, but I will say this is the first race I've ever used nitro, online, offline, any of it, on this account. I'll just put it like that. And as of now, you can sort of judge if I need to use it or not, because again, I'm just barely in the draft, but all in all, I'm looking a lot better than I figured I would be, really. I was kind of getting freight trained around the turns, and then now in the straightaways, it seems like, if anything, I'm very slightly gaining, which is a lot of slightly, maybe even a whole heck of a heap more than I figured in this particular car. The Viper's better in the turns, looser in the turns, as we've discussed before. But one thing that we'll discuss is with this new physics model. While this is the same race it's been for 2.5 years, I think this is the first time in a new physics model. The Viper is a little bit more stable. It's still not a good car for this race. It's one of the worst ones you could possibly pick. But it is a little bit more stable, so that helps, especially because I'm about to get on a nitro. It gets a lot unstable in a nitro before, so let's see what happens here. We go. We going towards the back because I forgot to map nitro, but apparently everyone else did too. No one, literally no one, seems to be using nitro right now. Look at my speed versus the others. Everyone forgot nitro and someone just wrecked there without anything. There was no contact. There was no using nitro. That was no nothing, and that was still wrecked. They still managed 4th with no nitro. That was a weird return to here, folks. That's for sure. Yeehaw, I guess.